The alarm on my wrist cut through the noise of the trading floor, and my stomach dropped before I even read the message. Vexrel's ship had broken formation and was burning straight for my station without clearance, and Cathari ships never moved without clearance. Something was wrong, or something had changed, and I had about 4 minutes to figure out which one before she was in my docking bay. My name is Callum Reed, and I run cargo and trade relations on Threshold Station, a rusted old outpost stuck between 3 territories that barely tolerate each other. My job is simple on paper: keep the peace, move the goods. Do not make enemies. For 8 months, the hardest part of that job had been figuring out what a Cathari noblewoman wanted from me, because she kept showing up with gifts I never asked for, and debts I never agreed to owe. The bay doors opened, and her ship settled down harder than usual, metal groaning under the weight of a landing that was not gentle. I ran down the ramp corridor with my heart pounding, expecting smoke or damage or a hull breach, and instead, I found her standing at the base of her own ship, alone, without her guards, without her advisors, without a single member of her retinue standing behind her the way they always did. That was the first wrong thing. Vexrel never went anywhere alone. Her plated skin, usually a deep blue-black, looked pale along the ridges near her jaw, the way it did when a Cathari was under strain. Her eyes locked onto mine the second I came through the door, and she did not wait for greetings. "They have called for my removal," she said. "The council believes I have shamed my bloodline." I stopped walking. "Shamed it how?" "By choosing you," she said. "By offering you gifts you never repaid. By challenging you to combat you refused to fight. In their eyes, I have spent 8 months courting a human who does not understand the meaning of an unbalanced debt. And now they say, I have made myself a fool in front of 3 star systems." I did not know what to say to that, so for a second, I said nothing at all, and the silence between us felt heavier than any negotiation I had ever sat through. "They want me to renounce the pursuit," she continued, "and return home to accept a match of their choosing. A proper match, a Cathari match with a proper ledger, and proper debts, and proper trials of strength. And if you refuse, then I am no longer welcome among my own people," she said, and her voice, for the first time since I had known her, cracked slightly on the last word. I felt something twist in my chest, something I was not ready to name yet. I had spent 8 months trying to explain human courtship to a woman raised on debt and duty, trying to make her understand that gifts did not need to be repaid and that love was not a transaction. I had thought I was teaching her something interesting about my species. I had not realized I was asking her to burn down her entire world to learn it. "Come inside," I said. "Let's talk where the whole station isn't listening." She followed me into my office, a cramped room with too many monitors and not enough chairs, and she sat across from me the way she always did, straight-backed, formal, like she was still negotiating a shipping contract instead of the shape of her own future. "I need you to be honest with me," she said. "Not soft, not careful, honest. All right, do you want this? Do you want me? Or have I built an entire fantasy out of one small kindness you gave me because you liked the paint on my ship?" I almost laughed, but the look on her face stopped me cold, because she meant it completely, and I understood then that this question had been sitting inside her for months, unspoken, while she threw gifts and challenges at me, trying to force an answer out of a system that made sense to her. "I want this," I said. "I have wanted this for a while now. I just did not know how to say it in a language you would trust." Her eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in the particular way she looked when she was trying to decide if something was too good to be a trick. "Then say it in your language, not mine. Tell me plainly, the way you told me before, without riddles." I leaned forward. "There is no ledger between us. There never was. Every gift you gave me, I kept because I liked having something of yours nearby, not because I owed you anything back. Every time you challenged me and I refused, it was not because I thought I would lose. It was because winning you through a fight would have meant nothing to me. I do not want a prize. I want a person who chooses to be here. And if I choose you," she said quietly, "and my people cast me out for it, what then? What do you offer me in exchange for the family I would lose, the standing I would lose, the home I would lose?" I felt the weight of that question land on me like a physical thing, because she was not asking for comfort. She was asking for a real answer, and I owed her one. I cannot replace what you would lose, I said. I am not going to pretend I can, but I can offer you a place here that is yours, not because you earned it through a trial, and not because you are owed it, but because I want you in it. That is all I have. It is not a ledger. It is just me, asking you to stay, and meaning it. She was quiet for a long moment, and I watched something shift behind her eyes, some old structure of thought cracking under new weight. My people believe love without debt is not real love, she said. They believe it is weakness disguised as freedom, that a bond with nothing owed cannot survive the first storm, because there is nothing holding it together when it breaks. Maybe they are wrong. Maybe, she said, or maybe you are the first thing I have ever wanted badly enough to find out. Before I could answer, the calm on the wall crackled to life, and a voice I did not recognize spoke in sharp, formal Cathari, fast enough that my translator lagged half a second behind. Vexrol's whole body went rigid the moment she heard it, and she stood so quickly her chair scraped hard against the floor. They followed me, she said. The council sent an envoy. They are here to formally strip my name if I do not return with them now. My pulse spiked. Here? On the station? Docking now, she said, already moving toward the door. Callum, if I face them, and they demand an answer, I will not lie to protect myself. I will tell them the truth, and the truth may end everything I have ever known. Then tell them, I said, standing up so fast my own chair nearly tipped. Tell them the truth. I will stand next to you when you do it. She looked at me like she was trying to memorize my face before walking into something she could not undo, and then she nodded once, sharp and final, the way her people nodded before a decision that could not be reversed. We walked out onto the main concourse together, and the crowd that had gathered near the docking bay went dead silent the moment the envoy's ship opened. 3 Cathari officials stepped out in formal robes, their faces carved into the same cold expression Vexrol wore when she first arrived on my station 8 months ago, back when she still believed everything worth having had to be earned through debt. The lead official spoke first, his voice carrying easily across the open concourse. Vexrol of the Keltharan line, you stand accused of abandoning the honor customs of your bloodline in pursuit of an alien who cannot repay you. You will renounce this pursuit now, or you will be stripped of your name before every witness present. The whole station seemed to hold its breath. I could feel eyes on us from every corner of the concourse, human and alien alike, waiting to see what she would say. Vexrol did not look at the official. She looked at me. I will not renounce it, she said, and her voice rang out clear and steady across the silence. I choose this human freely, owing him nothing, and he owes me nothing in return. There is no debt between us, and there never needs to be one, because what we have does not require a ledger to survive. It requires only that we keep choosing it, every day, for as long as we live. The official's expression flickered, something between disbelief and disgust, and for a moment, I thought he might actually try to force her hand. Then, slowly, another voice rose from behind him, older, quieter, belonging to a Cathari woman I had never seen before, standing near the back of the envoy group. Let her speak the old words, the older woman said. If she means them, we will know. Vexrol's eyes widened slightly, and something like hope flickered across her face for the first time since she had landed. She turned fully toward me, ignoring the officials entirely, and reached out to take both my hands in hers, plated fingers wrapping carefully around mine. There is an old vow among my people, she said, spoken before debt customs replaced it many generations ago. It asks for nothing. It promises nothing but presence. My grandmother's grandmother spoke it, before the ledgers began. I did not think I would ever have reason to speak it myself. Then speak it, I said. She lifted her chin, and in front of the entire concourse, in front of officials who had come to strip her of everything, she said words in Old Cathari that my translator struggled to render smoothly, words that meant something close to, I choose you without price, and I will choose you again tomorrow, and every day after, for no reason but that I want to. The older woman among the officials inclined her head slowly, a gesture of respect I recognized even without understanding its full weight, and the lead official, though clearly unhappy, stepped back without another word. Vexrel let out a breath I did not realize she had been holding, and for the first time since she landed, the tension in her shoulders eased completely. "They cannot strip a name from someone who has already given herself away by choice," she said quietly, "just for me. That is older law than their ledgers." I did not know if it would hold. I only knew I had to try. I looked at her standing there in front of everyone, having just risked her entire world on the idea that love did not need to be earned, and I understood then that I had never really answered her question the day she first asked it. I understood it now, standing here, watching her choose me in front of the people who raised her. "You asked me once what you had to do to marry me," I said. "I told you nothing. I think I finally understand why that scared you so much." "Why?" she asked. "Because nothing is harder to trust than something freely given," I said. "But I am not going anywhere. And neither is this. No ledger, no trial. Just us, choosing it again tomorrow." She smiled, small and real, the kind of smile I had never seen on her before that moment. And around us, the concourse slowly began to breathe again, the crowd dispersing back into the ordinary business of the station, as if the world had not just quietly changed shape in front of them. It had, though. I felt it settle into place like a new kind of gravity, steady and unspoken, asking nothing in return.